Good evening. It's 7:01 or thereabouts. Good evening, Michael. Great, you're in the house. I just want to personally say thank you for these amazing photographs that you dig out. Goodness knows where they come from, but I find it really fascinating to look at Cape Town and to imagine what an amazing, I mean, it's an amazing place now, but what it used to look like, 100 years ago. Gareth, good evening. Hi. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming. Wonderful. Yeah, just wait another minute or two or three. Just I know my mum, I've got my mum. She enjoys watching her eldest son talking on Facebook. So I hope she can manage alone with her 86 years of age. She's getting quite savvy with these modern machines that we've all got. Yeah. Crazy. Good one. So you had a good day on the mountain. Was that the Holland Hots Holland? Well, I'm always a bit impatient. I want to get going. Anyway, I'll just tell you guys, I'm going to be talking about, this evening, reading some I've categorized these poems under what I called transformational poetry. Transformational poetry. Cool, Swellendam. Yeah, lovely. Oh my goodness. Savara, wonderful. Welcome all the way from India. I think it's India or Pakistan. Thank you. Yeah. So waiting for my mum to see if she can press the right button or not. Yeah, this evening it's going to be about transformational poetry, and I want to just talk a little bit about transformational. There we go. Mum, greetings, welcome. I love it that you can make it. Wonderful. Yeah, she's there. She's there. Well, great. Let's go. Sabara. It's going to be very impromptu this evening. I've just walked in the door, and I don't know if you guys or anyone knows what I do. I do a variety of different things, and I'm so grateful for what I do. Part of my work is I work in a children's home with a group of 14 children between the ages of 4 and 16 years of age. Beatrice, welcome. Yeah, in this beautiful little children's home, wonderful kids, and I've been there for 6 years. But that's not, there I'm working just as an educator. Parents are not able to look after their kids, mostly because of mental illness. And I work in a small team of colleagues, and we look after these beautiful children, and it's great fun. It truly is. I've got 5 children myself, and another 14 children. So other than working with those children, I also teach. I teach English as a foreign language here in Germany, but more than that, I'm a trained psychotherapist, and I'm very, very interested in meta-learning. Meta-learning, neuroscience, epigenetics, all these things which have to do with the brain and the mind and how it works. And these ideas and thoughts and techniques I also use to train my pupils with. And again and again and again, I hear from my pupils, why don't they teach us this stuff at school, you know? Because schools are great for teaching you about things, but they're really bad in teaching you how to do it. So when, you know, I get children coming in here and they're at the bottom of the class. Zaim, all the way from Pakistan, welcome. Stay on board. It's going to be an interesting evening. So these children, they come to me and they've been doing really badly at school, and their parents are, oh no, what's going on? And then in a short space of time, I teach them how memory works. I teach them learning techniques. I teach them speed reading. And at the same time, integrating that into the process of learning English as a foreign language. And in next to no time, who would believe it? These kids, with 1 hour a week of teaching, in the space of 3 months, 4 months, they're coming back and the teachers are coming out of the classroom saying, Liam or Mr. Kennedy, like, what's happened? You know, they've gone from the bottom of the class to the top of the class. And it's all about just really understanding how the mind works and showing the kids simple techniques of how to apply these ideas. Now, I work with adults as well. And so, yeah, that's just, I thought I'd just give you a little bit of background as to myself. And good evening, Tanya, all the way from Cape Town. Yeah, giving you just a little bit of background as to myself and what I do. And that this evening, I've just sitting in the car, driving home from work, I thought, what's it going to be about? Let's talk about transformational or transformation, and to read some poems out of the category called Transformational Poetry. Now, when we look back in time, now, of course, we are living in the new present, as it's called, right? But when we look back at the old paradigm in our Western culture, it was ridiculously, idiotically straightforward. It was, school was a preparation for university, was a preparation for a career, which prepared you for old age and pension, and then, you know, you'd had your ticket, off you went again. You know, it was unbelievably naive and in no way reflected the deep complexity of human nature. Now, where we are at the moment, after COVID, and of course I think everyone who's still down in South Africa is still clamped down, tied down, and in this extraordinary situation of isolation, the possibilities for a new paradigm are presenting themselves. And I want to put that into the context of transformation, all right? The old paradigm, no transformation. We're not taught anything about transformation. Transformation in the public discussion doesn't come up anywhere. It's a real weird sort of word. How does it fit? What does it mean? And where does it belong? No idea. It's not part of the equation. But in fact, it's very much part of human nature. Yeah? Because we all go through transformations. Now, I've got this corny little expression which says, your personality, right, is an expression of your personal reality, or the other way around. Your personal reality reflects your personality. Now, it sounds corny, but there's a lot of truth in it. And there's a lot of truth in the fact that when either your personal reality transforms or changes because either a relationship has become dysfunctional, your job situation has changed, your personal circumstances, your health, your finance, and I can go on and on and on. You know, this is part of reality. This is part of the world that we all live in, and we've all gone through it. But because so few of us have actually been trained in the mechanics of how emotions work, and that's the training that a psychotherapist does. You actually learn how the gears and cogs and wheels of our emotional world actually turn, and how you can, pulling the levers and turning the wheels, how you can work your way through crisis. Yeah? Because you always say crisis is an opportunity for change. It's just that we've been so ill prepared to deal with change, we look at it as a crisis instead of an opportunity. Yeah? So crisis always means opportunity. And I think very much the new paradigm is about this new opportunity for so many people. It's in a way of how do we transform the circumstances of where we are at the moment to something which in a way fulfills us in a deep and meaningful manner, you know, which goes down into the core of who we are, so that our personality becomes an expression of what we actually came to this life for. You know, your personality becomes an expression of what it is, of what it is that you're meant to be doing, your calling, something deeply fulfilling and fascinatingly interesting that you do. And you do it, you also have, I mean, you earn money with it, you live with it, but by doing it, it reflects, it's a reflection of your personality. And because it's part of that, your personality will reflect into your personal reality. And so these circumstances in which you live becomes a living harmony of who you are and what you do, and what you do and what you are. And when you can live like that, you know, it's something deeply worth striving for. So personally, it's not just theory coming from me. I have reinvented myself so often. I have had to reinvent myself, and I've gone through the traumas and the ups and the downs, and you know, but there you are. The road just keeps opening up, and it's a long and exciting journey. And it's part of that journey in written poetry that I'm here to share with you this evening. So shall we get started? Good. I have got my iPhone stuck to a tripod with a piece of sticky tape. I wish you could see it. It looks totally unprofessional. But in front of me, I've got my laptop. And I am now going to... I've got my website. I'm on the website called thepoet.me, just thepoet.me. The strange writing is because it's a mirror image. I had to write that in mirror, the wrong way around and back to front, so that you can read it the right way around. Just, that's why it looks a bit weird, yeah? Thepoet.me. I'm on that page, and when you go to the menu bar and you scroll down under poems, you get to what I call the category called Transformational Poetry. So all the poems that I'm going to be reading to you in some way express or lead or indicate, or there'll be something within the poem which talks to the reader of the poem, and yeah, you make up your own mind. I think everyone everyone hears poetry and understands poetry or takes what they need to take from it. So there's never a good and a wrong, a right and a whatever. It's just whatever. It's just about enjoying the moment, really. I'll repeat once again what I call my divergent focus. So, lean back, close your eyes, gaze into the distant future, unfocus your mind, create that beautiful, clear, vacant canvas of your consciousness, and allow your listening to perceive what these words, the story that they're telling. The first poem I've got here is called The Quantum. The Quantum. And this is actual, this is an experience, exactly. This is an experience that I had. So here we go. The Quantum. It's true, this happened. While lying close-eyed, in peace with peace, in quiet with the stillness, it descended within me, opening magnificent without me. Was it a door through which shone gold? The immensity was profound. The intensity was soul-shaking. Voices angelic and sweet resonated, while my body disintegrated into atoms, vibrating with the energy of God. Or was this a fleeting quantum of energetic rapture? A rich, intrepid landscape, void of profile, yet rich in texture. Calling joy to my maker, my kin, my kind, for never before has it been to me. This awe, this shine, this joy and more. More and more and more. The I became one. Words fail. It's done. Done. Yeah. That was a moment of, a deep moment of a deep transformational moment in my life. A very, very powerful moment, yeah. It goes back a long, long way. Good evening, Carol. You've joined. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your time. This next poem is called Flux. Now we all know what flux is, and that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. The old paradigm being simplistic, monolith, straight, uninteresting and uncomplicated. But that's not what life is about. Life is much more fascinating and convoluted and in flux. Flux. The end is a misconception. Everything is in a process. We are all in flux. When something concludes, focus forward mindfully, for it's there you create your future new. The past, a memory, a reflection of my personality. the personal reality made by me. Flux it, stretch it, weave and mould it, vision board and dream about it. Grow from invisible to visible. The end is a misconception. It's really just about to begin. Yeah, it's just about to begin. You know, that's really what it's about. Every single day we can recreate. The question is, of course, how do you go about doing it if you've never been told how to, never shown how to? How do you go about doing it? And I think there are 1,000 different ways, depending on who you are and where you are, what you've experienced and what you've learned. But my way, my personal way, has been through meditation. Meditation. Not classical meditation, in the sense of sitting in the traditional, like a Buddha, and doing the meditation like that. I have been doing meditations using headphones, lying flat, and about half an hour, 3/4 an hour of, it's called binaural brainwave entrainment. Binaural brainwave entrainment meditations. And they're just two different frequencies which you listen to. Perhaps I should just mention this very briefly because it's so powerful and so easy to implement in your life. Not very long ago, 15 years ago, neuroscientists discovered that by putting headphones on and feeding the brain with two slightly different frequencies, left and right, something extraordinary happened when you watched the brain on a CT scan. What the brain actually did, it took two different frequencies and created a third harmonic, which wasn't actually there. Extraordinary. Why? Because from an evolutionary point of view, our hearing and our mind has never, ever, sound is something which is universal. So when entrainment means to entrain, the mind has what's called neuroplasticity. It means it absorbs sound, and it took these two different sounds and created a third harmonic, which blew their minds. What did it actually mean for the person who was listening? It meant the following. It meant that the left and the right brain hemispheres started to synchronize. From an evolutionary point of view, the left and right brain hemispheres are vaguely left and right orientated in what they do. Yeah? They're also very strongly connected to the amygdala, the deep brain, the ancient brain, the reptile brain. But by doing this type of meditation, you synchronize the left and the right brain hemispheres, brainwave entrainment, and this is a form of meditation. And it has an extraordinary effect, calming effect on one's life. And you can find it just by going to YouTube and looking for binaural brainwave entrainment. It's fantastic. It's changed my life, yeah. And I could go on for another whole hour talking about that in detail, but I'm not here to do that. I'm here to read you some poetry, which I am looking forward to as I get to the next poem called, what? You guessed it, Meditation. This poem is called Meditation. And if you're looking at a transformational process and how to step into it in the most creative way, the best place to go is down deep into your own mind, and get to know what it's like down there. And that's what meditation, all it is. It's not some Eastern mystical sort of thing which happens to you. No, we connect it nowadays neuroscientifically with a way of gaining a deeper fundamental understanding as who you are as an individual. And you just have to lie down and start practicing this. Meditation. The infinity of what we are quietly whispers us, be silent. In this undisturbed place, this place within me, myself, I left back there breathing deeply. Awareness became tangible in me. Eternity becomes just another reality, permeated in meaning, pulsating, eternity, eternally away, whoosh. My heart calls now to return home. Leaving unity, I'll reunify, log in to myself again. This meditation is mediation between dimensions we already own, the now and our eternal home. I think there's so much truth in those words, you know. This meditation is a mediation between dimensions already known, the now and our eternal home. Yeah. That's just a little bit on the process of transformation. So, if anyone has a question or they would like me to mention something, please, I'm always thrilled if someone types and sends me a message of some sort or another. It's so strange sitting here alone in my lounge. Well, this is where I teach, in fact. This little room, if I showed you around, this is a jungle that I painted a couple of years ago. Hold on, let me just spontaneously show you what this is like. Yeah. It's just giving you an idea of what this... That's the lampshade as well, painted that. The banana plants. Yeah, so it's here that I sit and work and find it so inspiring with all these young people who are hungry for this knowledge, you know. When you teach them what it is and how it is, how the mind works and how they can learn, they love it and they go for it, you know. It's incredible. All my matric students, matric here in Europe, in Germany, is called Abitur. They all finish with 1,0, 100%. The last 4 pupils I've had, the last 4 students. So I think that is a reflection of their own inspiration. You know, you can always show someone the way, but when they grab it and they use it and they implement these ideas, you know, and then they get the results, it's thrilling. So this next poem is called The Illusion. divergent focus, blank screen. Jan, greetings, Jan. Haven't had you. Lovely to have you here. A poem called The Illusion. The world exists as we perceive it. It's not what you see, but how you see it. It's not what you hear, but how you understand it. And it's not what you feel, but how you interpret these emotions. Our organs of perception are impartial and limited. The mind alone is limitless. Perceive with this greatness. Make good thoughts. Your insights will be joyful too. Perceive through the filter of the heart. Compassion's smile will grace your lips. Perceive through the filter of understanding, and peace will soon settle upon your thoughts. Perceive through the filter of responsibility. Recognition will initiate your actions. It's in this awakening. It's in this recognition. It's in this moment. Stillness remains untouched. And I think that is such a secret, you know. It's a secret that everything, the world in which we live and everything we do is so controlled by our prefrontal cortex, the master of ceremonies in your mind. But on one level below that, the subconscious, the huge and vast subconscious mind of who we all are, there is a tremendous space for us to recognize our own universality, our own spirituality, and in that meet the deep, true, and fundamental being that you are, that we are. Yeah? It's there we need to go, in that deep and distant place in your own mind, and become accustomed to it, become accustomed to being there. And it's always a place where we cut off all of our outer circumstances, your senses of sight, of hearing, of thought. The most difficult one to turn off, which you always hear about with meditation, is how to turn off your prefrontal cortex. You know, if from an evolutionary point of view, we were never given a turn off button. You can't turn your mind off. It actually becomes a problem to turn your mind off when you go into a peaceful state. But it's nothing that you can't overcome. It just takes a little bit of practice. Yeah? And when you eventually go into those deeper states of quietness and quietude, the magic happens. The magic happens. And what comes up from that place, that deep place, is something which is full of light and full of joy, full of love and full of happiness, you know, for who you are and what you do and why you're here. Oh my God, it's almost 25. I think I've 5 minutes to go. My batteries are starting to wink at me that they're slowly running out of power, but I think we will have time for another poem. Again, these poems that I've been reading this evening have been under the I've categorized them as transformational poetry, and I've been talking about transformation as an idea, which is a new idea in the new present, this time after COVID-19. Transformation belongs to the new paradigm in a very deep and fundamental way, because it affects so many millions and millions of people on so many different levels. And so few of us are prepared, emotionally prepared, intellectually prepared, from who we are as a personality, from our training, and from what it is that we do to cope with deep fundamental change, creating difficulty. But we can transform. And that's what I've been writing about. The next poem, perhaps even the last poem I'm going to read this evening, is called The Music. If you check the website, there is I've got a brilliant image here of a chimpanzee sitting with an electric guitar and a cigarette in his mouth. I love it. It's such a cool picture. Anyway, the music. Dance, spin, and fly. For the music is where we began, where also we return to. It's in this release from the body we hear the ringing of the cosmos. We feel the energy of the spheres, lifting us again and again. Wind whirling across open fields, lost in flow, free in motion. I felt, at last, humility. The ringing of the spheres, wind whirling across open fields, lost in flow, free in motion. I felt, at last, humility. So, everybody, perhaps potluck, one more. 3-4 minutes to go. Yeah, this evening I came directly from work. Little preparation, just all very spontaneous. This live unplugged poetry reading. It's probably the 4th or 5th time it's happened now. And these are poems that I'm reading. Most of these poems will be published in the 2nd anthology. This is the first one, which was published, which is available on Amazon. If you look under Liam Kennedy, New Millennium Poetry. And I couldn't fit all the work into one book. There was just too much. And so we decided to do two volumes. And that's the first volume. And the second volume, India's just coming out of lockdown on the 31st, tomorrow. And so the publisher, she will be able to get back, and I hope it won't be too long before the second book is available. Right. So, everyone, my last poem for this evening, it's called Atom. Within the atom lies an entire universe. The positivity, the negativity, the electrons fly in waves or orbits of possibilities. Quantum, not quantity, holds sway. This magnificence is in me too, be it cells, the enzymes, hormones, blood or muscle. It's profound, it's deep. It's within a field of energy. My heart leaps, kicking heels with amazement, how our kind has come to be. This unique epiphany. Let's also call it joy and make me free to fly. Have you too flown to that place of peace? That home of all from which a call resonates each and every waking day. It's in the invisible, the atom, the cell, or sky. We need to look, we need to laugh, we need to coagulate around the reality of nothing, to find it all. We need to coagulate around the reality of nothing. We need to coagulate around the reality of finding nothing. That's a poetic way of saying or expressing what happens when you meditate. You coagulate around the reality of nothing. And what do you find? Everything. You find it all. Thank you, everyone. That's 40 minutes of poetry live, some of my thoughts, and a little bit about who I am. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your time. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you like, invite your friends. If someone's missed it, they can, I suppose, watch this on Facebook as well. Take care. God bless. Grant, Bradley, greetings. Right at the end of the day, just saying goodbye. Enjoy the weekend. Stay safe. God bless. Bye for now.